Hey everybody, we are in Pacific Grow and I want to show you how a simple retaining wall project turned into a full-scale landscape renovation that included fencing, turf, drainage, planting, irrigation, and a lot of details that we're going to share with you. The original scope of work that we had was this wall that it's about 50 lineal feet, and that was to make the yard a little bit bigger so they can enjoy the yard as a family. We amplified the yard and then had this nice piece of turf right here. We had a deck here, as you can see. It was in the way and we were debating to either keep it because it was still in good conditions, but at the same time we were to have two different levels, so the space it would feel a little bit more smaller because there's two levels. So if you have kids, for instance, you can't really have them running around. There's two steps. So they ended up deciding on getting rid of the deck and just have a flat surface with a small landing to be able to come out of the house. Extended the patio all of it to the other side of the yard. That gave them a lot more space. Now on this side, we had a wall, as you can see, and it was a wooden wall. Now it was failing, not completely, but it was leaning a little bit. The client and I, we were discussing about this section. We had an agreement going, but then he said, you know what? Why don't we just do this side as well, since you guys are here and we're gonna be putting pavers against the wall. One thing that you don't want to do is do the pavers against an all wooden retaining wall and then come back later to do a new wall. Then you're going to damage your pavers. We ended up doing the whole wall in order to save some costs in the future. It is a simple wall because we didn't have to get a permit because it's below 3 feet. Now it's a little complicated. These ABS blocks from Belgar, they're heavy, so for the team wasn't easy for the installation. Even though it's a small retaining wall, we had to have drainage behind the wall. Why? To get rid of all the water pressure, all the surcharge, send it away. And a lot of excavation was needed in order to amplify the yard and push the wall a little bit to my right. Something very important to know about this type of wall is that, see, you have a pattern. You can get to pick if you want all large blocks or a combination like you see here. If you go with all large blocks, then no problem. You're not gonna have that much waste. But if you go and pick a pattern like this, guess what? They sell the block per pallet and each pallet has its own size. So at the end, you may run short, let's say a few, or you're gonna need 10 of these and 10 of these other guys. You're gonna have to order the whole pallet in order to get those 10 pieces. So at the end, you're gonna have a lot left over. And it's a little hard to calculate those things. Keep that in mind whenever you're doing your retaining wall in case you choose these type of blocks, ABS Belgar. And before we get going, I want to talk to you about these wall lights that they are very important. I always recommend them. They give you this little nice accent to your wall. This particular case, we use these guys. They're warm white, so the color temperature, it's 3000. Just enough, not too white, not too yellow. One thing to keep in mind is they're low voltage. That means they use about 3 to 4 watts per light, so that's very minimum. You can keep them all night on and you're barely gonna see a change in your PG&E bill. Now the turf. As always, we have a big war here in Monterey Bay, so we had to do all the right prep. That means excavating about 6 inches of the native soil, haul it away, and then install a weed barrier, and then gopher netting, very important. Bringing in our drain rack, and then installing our turf. Why did we use drain rack instead of base rack? Because We needed some drainage. We needed some water to stay in the property. Now, base rock, it's kind of permeable, but since it's compacted, the water doesn't percolate as fast as in drain rack. So we ended up doing 3/4 drain rack. That makes the yard to be pet friendly because everything penetrates a lot faster to the ground. So if you're looking to have your turf to be pet friendly, make sure you do good drainage, a lot of drain rack. Now, back in the days, not all turf was pet friendly. Some of them, they didn't have enough holes underneath, so you couldn't use just any turf. Nowadays, things have evolved, so pretty much any turf, we just have to ask the manufacturer, but pretty much any turf has enough drainage holes so you can use it as pet turf. In this particular case, we have the one that it's called Coastal Plush, and it's about 2.5 inches thick. So it's pretty thick. That makes it feel very realistic. It just feels good. It just feels right. So let's talk about the pavers now. The brand we used was Belgar, the style Catalina Grana, and the pattern color, it's called Shaded Gray. It's a very nice color. It goes with pretty much anything. Now for the border, we have 6x9s and the color it's mid-9. It's a little contrast between the pattern. This is something to consider when you're looking to have a little nice contrast, but not so much. So now let's talk about the horizontal fencing. We use redwood 1x6, but then it was stained to kind of look like cedar. It has this yellowish tone, which came out really nice. The client wanted to have a little bit of privacy. They said, you know, give me some privacy. We are at this level, lower level. The neighbors are a little bit higher, so we could see straight into them and vice versa. So we added the fence plus the shrubs that eventually are going to soften the wall. This fence was falling down and they said, you know what, you guys are already here, you guys are doing great work, so take the fence down and get me a new one. Modern look, again 1x6 redwood. And we kept on going this way, all the way to the front yard, and we also built for them this nice gate that lets you go in and out. The same on this side, this fence was needing some help. So they say, take it out, get me a new fence. Now in this particular one, we ended up doing a double face fence. It looks good from the outside and then it looks good from the inside, not like on this other side that you're seeing right now. On the inside, looks like this, and on the outside looks like this. On the outside you can see the post. That's the big difference between the two when you have a double face or not a double face. And last but not least, let's talk about the soul of the space, the landscaping. To me, that is something very, very important, because can you imagine the space without any greenery, without any life? It would look a lot different. So we added these nice shrubs that eventually are gonna grow and look a lot better. They're kind of babies right now. Now on this side, they wanted to have a nice palm tree up in the corner. From here all the way to the end, we added these olive trees. The reason is because they wanted to have some nice privacy, and eventually these guys, these olives, going to grow and fill in and get them the privacy that they're looking for. And at the same time, see at the bottom we have only the trunk and then the shrub at the top. So at the bottom we have a space to put in some more plants and make it look beautiful. And as always, I'm a big fan of having good drainage for your projects. So see, we have this downspout going down into our pipe and sending the water out to the street. We have this other one on this other side, And lastly, this last one. See, they're collecting all the waters from the downspout into our drain pipe and then out to the street. Okay, so that's it for this project. I hope you guys enjoyed all the details and all the information that we shared with you. If you have any requests, any special questions, make sure to send them to info@thirdheavenlandscape.com.